Welcome, everyone, to Wisdom of Experience. Here, we don't shy away from the tough topics. Instead, we aim to shed light on the most profound parts of the human journey. One of those journeys, often pushed into the shadows of discomfort, is life's final chapter, the transition we call death. We often think of death as an unwelcome interruption, something sudden and shocking, rarely considering it might be a more gradual process, one with quiet signals along the way. But experience and close observation teach us something different, especially when it comes to our cherished elders, those nearing the end of their physical road. The body, that incredible biological marvel that has served them for decades, rarely falls completely silent before a major change. It often sends out subtle signs, gentle whispers hinting that a significant transition is approaching. These signals aren't always loud alarms. They often hide beneath the surface of normal aging or chronic illness. This can cause us, sometimes simply because we're busy, or don't know what to look for, to unintentionally overlook them until the window for deep connection and preparation has narrowed. Imagine a master painter, after a lifetime of dedication, applying the final strokes to their masterpiece. The hand might be less steady, the strokes slower, the colors perhaps softer, yet these final touches hold a unique beauty. The beauty of completion, of a journey reaching its culmination. In a similar way, the body of an older adult entering their final phase is completing its own masterpiece, preparing for a profound transition. Our fast-paced lives can easily cause us to miss these delicate brushstrokes. We might label fatigue as just slowing down, weight loss as a poor appetite, or moments of forgetfulness as just part of getting older. But sometimes, hidden within these seemingly ordinary changes are profound warnings, indicators that the body is entering its final chapter. Recognizing these signals early isn't about morbidly focusing on the inevitable. Quite the opposite, it's about embracing a precious opportunity, a gift of time. It allows us to prepare, not just practically, but far more importantly, emotionally and spiritually. It opens up space to share unspoken words of love, to mend lingering hurts, to consciously create more meaningful final memories together. Most importantly, it empowers us to walk alongside our loved ones, helping them approach their departure feeling peaceful, respected, and enveloped in unwavering love. Today, on Wisdom of Experience, we're going to delve deeper into 8 significant signs. Think of them as quiet notes signaling the closing melody in life's symphony. We won't just list them. We'll explore why they appear, understand their nature, and crucially, learn how we can be present and offer compassionate, insightful support during this incredibly sensitive time. Because our understanding and genuine love have the power to transform these final days into a period rich with meaning, comfort, and profound serenity. Let's begin this exploration together. 1. Unexplained weight loss, when the life force gently ebbs. One of the more visible and often concerning indicators that an older adult's body is entering a significant phase of change is sudden, unintentional weight loss, even when their diet or lifestyle hasn't drastically changed. You might notice it in clothes that suddenly seem too loose, a familiar belt needing to be tightened by extra notches, or a face and frame looking noticeably thinner. This often goes hand in hand with a significantly diminished appetite or feeling full after eating very little. Why does this happen? Our bodies are intricate biological systems, constantly working to sustain and repair themselves. But as life nears its end, this incredible system naturally begins to wind down. The digestive tract, the gateway for energy, may become less efficient at breaking down food and absorbing nutrients. The entire digestive process can slow, making it harder for the body to get the calories needed to maintain its mass. At the same time, vital organs like the heart, liver, and kidneys may function less effectively, disrupting metabolism. When energy intake from food isn't enough, the body must tap into its own reserves. First fat, and eventually even muscle tissue, to fuel essential functions. This is what leads to rapid and noticeable weight loss. The story of Leo Tolstoy's final months, where accounts mention significant weight loss despite a simple diet, suggests his body was no longer able to fully utilize nourishment, perhaps mirroring a deeper acceptance of life's finite nature. How to support. During this time, understanding and absolutely respecting your loved one's choices and feelings is paramount. Avoid pressuring them to eat or showing frustration if they refuse food. Instead, shift your focus to providing comfort and maximizing the quality of whatever nutrition they can take in. Offer nutrient-dense, easy-to-digest foods like soups, smoothies, yogurt, eggs, soft-cooked fish, or pureed fruits and vegetables. Even small amounts can be valuable. Instead of 3 large meals that might feel overwhelming, try offering smaller portions or snacks more frequently throughout the day. This can be less daunting and easier on their system. Create a peaceful and pleasant dining environment. Soft music, gentle lighting, or light, calm conversation can make a difference. Avoid stressful topics during meal times. More important than the food itself is your presence. Sit with them during meals, even if they eat very little. Share time, offer gentle conversation, show your affection. This warm connection can be more nourishing than any supplement. The act of offering food is itself an act of caring. Don't hesitate to talk to their doctor, or a registered dietitian. They can help understand the underlying causes of the weight loss, and discuss appropriate supportive options, like liquid nutritional supplements or necessary vitamins, if indicated. As the body taps into its precious reserves to compensate for reduced intake, essentially running on energy savings as we often see with this kind of weight loss, a natural and profound consequence frequently emerges. A deep, pervasive fatigue that goes far beyond simple tiredness. This leads us directly into our second sign. 2. Persistent fatigue, when the body starts conserving energy. When the body has to dip into its energy savings, as seen with weight loss. It's no surprise that a profound sense of fatigue often follows. This isn't just feeling tired after a busy day, it's different. Has your loved one, who might have been relatively active before, started spending much more time resting in bed or a chair? Do they seem exhausted even without much exertion, sleep more than usual, or lack the motivation for even simple activities? This is often described as a deep, pervasive fatigue, a bone-deep exhaustion that even adequate rest doesn't fully relieve. It can be a significant sign that the body is shifting into an energy conservation mode. Why does this happen? As the body prepares for its final transition, its overall energy production capacity significantly decreases. Vital organs may be slowing down, metabolism becomes less efficient, and oxygen delivery to tissues might be reduced. All these factors contribute to this overwhelming feeling of weariness and weakness. This fatigue can stem from a complex mix of causes. The natural slowing of organ function, heart pumping less effectively, lungs exchanging gases less efficiently, kidneys filtering more slowly. Potential side effects of medications used for chronic conditions, underlying medical issues that haven't been fully managed, like anemia, thyroid problems, or low-grade infections. Emotional factors, depression, anxiety, loneliness can be physically draining. Or simply it being part of the natural aging process where the body intrinsically conserves energy for its most critical life-sustaining tasks. Even individuals with immense willpower, like Mahatma Gandhi, experienced declining physical strength and increasing fatigue in his later years despite his unwavering spirit, showing how the body's natural weakening is a universal experience. How to support. Your role becomes creating an environment that honors and accommodates their need for rest. Absolutely respect their limits. Don't push them to participate in activities if they express feeling too tired. Allow them to sleep or rest whenever needed, without making them feel guilty. Adapt activities to their energy level. If they still want to engage in something they enjoy, help them do so gently. Maybe read to them instead of asking them to read, or have a short, quiet visit instead of a long outing. Ensure their living space is quiet, comfortable, and free from unnecessary noise or disturbances. Encourage very gentle activities if they're up for it, like sitting outside for fresh air, listening to favorite music together, or having short, calm conversations. Pay close attention to their emotional needs. Simply being present, listening without judgment, and validating their feelings, "It's okay to feel this tired," can provide immense comfort and reassurance. This profound lack of physical energy, this systemic slowdown we often observe as persistent fatigue, isn't just felt in the muscles and limbs. It can ripple outwards, significantly impacting even the most energy-hungry organ in the body, the brain. This connection brings us to the next subtle sign many families notice. 3. Cognitive changes, when clarity and memory gently fade. This overall dip in energy and systemic slowdown doesn't just affect the body. It can also cloud the command center, the brain. Consequently, another sign that can be deeply concerning and emotionally difficult for families is a noticeable shift in cognitive function. This might manifest in various ways. Increasing forgetfulness about daily details or recent events, confusion about the time of day or where they are. Difficulty recalling familiar names, even those of close loved ones. Or experiencing moments of disorientation or confusion that seem out of character. Why does this happen? The brain, like every other organ, is susceptible to the effects of aging and underlying health conditions. Reduced blood flow to the brain, perhaps due to weakening heart function or narrowed arteries, can limit the supply of vital oxygen and nutrients to brain cells. This can impair cognitive function, affecting memory, concentration, language skills, and executive functions, like planning and decision-making. Furthermore, specific diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, vascular dementia, or the lingering effects of strokes can cause significant cognitive impairment in older adults. In the final stage of life, these cognitive changes can become more pronounced, impacting their ability to communicate effectively and interact meaningfully with the world around them. They might lose track of time, become unsure of their location, or even fail to recognize the faces of those who have cared for them for years. The tragic tale of Shakespeare's King Lear serves as a powerful literary example of how declining judgment and cognitive abilities in old age can lead to devastating decisions with heartbreaking consequences for everyone involved. How to support. Facing a loved one's cognitive decline requires immense patience, deep compassion, and generous understanding from caregivers. Try to remain calm and don't take it personally if they forget things, even your name or relationship. Remember, this is a symptom of their condition, not a reflection of their feelings for you. Offer gentle reminders rather than sharp corrections or scolding. Avoid showing frustration or anger, as this can increase their anxiety, shame, or agitation. Use familiar objects as memory aids. Family photographs, favorite songs from their past, or familiar scents can sometimes trigger sparks of recognition, or pleasant memories. Maintain a safe, familiar, and uncluttered living environment. Keeping furniture and objects in consistent places can reduce confusion. Avoid sudden major changes to their surroundings. Communicate simply and clearly. Use short, straightforward sentences and speak slowly and calmly. Avoid complex questions or abstract concepts. Focus on one idea at a time. Most importantly, continue to show love and affection, both verbally and physically. Even if they don't seem to recognize you consistently, the feeling of being loved, touched gently, and spoken to kindly can still penetrate the fog. Hold their hand, give a gentle hug, speak words of love and reassurance. When the body is already working overtime simply to manage basic physical needs, perhaps while also navigating the considerable challenges of cognitive changes, its overall resources become inevitably stretched thin. This often leaves fewer reserves available for crucial background operations, like maintaining a robust immune defense system, making the person significantly more vulnerable as we see in our fourth sign. 4. Frequent infections, when the body's defenses are lowered. A body that's working harder just to maintain basic functions, perhaps while also dealing with cognitive changes, often has fewer resources left for its defense system. You might start to notice that your elderly loved one seems more susceptible to infections than they used to be. They might catch colds or the flu more easily, struggle with coughs that linger for weeks, or develop urinary tract infections, pneumonia, or skin infections more frequently. Not only do they get sick more often, but recovery can take significantly longer. And the symptoms might be more severe than in the past. Why does this happen? Our immune system, the complex network of cells and proteins that guards us against disease-causing invaders, naturally tends to weaken as we age. This process is sometimes called immunosenescence. It makes older adults generally more vulnerable to bacteria, viruses, and fungi. In the final stage of life, this weakening can become particularly pronounced due to several converging factors. Key immune cells, like T cells and B cells, may become less effective at identifying and destroying pathogens. The body might produce fewer antibodies, proteins that target specific infections. And the antibodies produced may not work as well. The burden of chronic illnesses common in the elderly, like diabetes, heart disease, lung disease, can further compromise immune function. And potential malnutrition or poor appetite can lead to deficiencies in vitamins and minerals essential for a healthy immune response. In essence, the body's natural, protective shield becomes thinner and more easily breached. How to support? In this phase, the focus of care often needs to shift, prioritizing comfort and minimizing infection risk rather than pursuing aggressive treatments solely to prolong life, especially if those treatments cause significant side effects or distress. Make comfort the top priority. If they develop an infection, concentrate on effectively managing uncomfortable symptoms like fever, cough, aches, and pains using appropriate medications or comfort measures as advised by their doctor. Help them stay comfortably warm, as maintaining body temperature can support the body's fight against infection. Minimize their exposure to potential sources of infection. This might mean limiting visitors, especially those who are sick, and ensuring excellent hand hygiene for both the patient and all caregivers. Consult their doctor promptly about any suspected infection. Discuss treatment options, like antibiotics, openly. Crucially, have an honest conversation about the goals of care at this stage. Is the goal to cure the infection at all costs, or is it to manage symptoms and maintain comfort, accepting that the infection might be part of the natural dying process? Always keep quality of life at the forefront of decisions. Discuss their wishes, if they can express them, and priorities regarding medical interventions with the entire healthcare team, doctor, nurses, hospice staff if involved. Sometimes, less invasive care is the kindest approach. With the immune system potentially compromised and the body possibly needing to fight off infections more often or with greater difficulty, this added strain can start to subtly affect the very mechanics of staying alive. The effort involved can lead us to observe changes in one of the most fundamental rhythms of life: their breathing patterns. 5. Changes in breathing patterns, the subtle rhythm of transition. As the body's defenses weaken and it struggles more with challenges like infections, even the most fundamental life process, breathing, can begin to change. Observing these changes can be emotionally difficult for loved ones, but they are significant indicators of the body's final transition. Your loved one's breathing might become noticeably slower than usual, or it might become very shallow. It could become irregular, with periods of normal breathing alternating with periods of very fast or very slow breaths. Sometimes, there are distinct pauses between breaths, apnea, that can last from a few seconds to almost a minute. You might also hear rattling or gurgling sounds coming from their throat or chest as they breathe. This is often referred to as the death rattle or noisy breathing, and while it can be distressing to hear, it's usually caused by normal secretions accumulating in the airways that the person no longer has the strength to clear. It's generally not considered painful for them. Why does this happen? These changes in breathing patterns signal that the body's central control systems and vital organs are gradually shutting down. The lungs may no longer be efficiently exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide. The heart might not be pumping strongly enough to circulate oxygenated blood effectively, including to the respiratory center in the brain. Fluid can sometimes accumulate in the airways or the back of the throat, contributing to the noisy breathing sounds. A specific pattern sometimes seen near the end is Cheyne-Stokes breathing, characterized by cycles where breaths become progressively deeper and faster, then shallower and slower, leading to a temporary pause in breathing, apnea, before the cycle repeats. Mitch Albom's incredibly moving book, Tuesdays with Morrie, vividly describes the changes in Professor Morrie Schwartz's breathing as his ALS progressed, becoming increasingly labored and shallow, eventually requiring oxygen support. A clear and poignant illustration of this end-of-life sign. How to support. When you notice these changes in breathing, the most important thing you can offer is a calm, peaceful, and reassuring presence. Maintain a quiet and serene environment. Minimize loud noises or excessive activity that could be jarring or cause anxiety. Try not to show alarm or panic when their breathing pattern changes. Your calm demeanor can be incredibly soothing. Sit with them, hold their hand, speak softly, conveying safety and love. Gently elevating their head and shoulders with pillows can sometimes make breathing physically easier by allowing for better chest expansion. If the air in the room is very dry, using a cool mist humidifier might help keep their airways slightly moister and more comfortable. Don't hesitate to contact their doctor or, if they are enrolled, the hospice nurse for guidance and support. They can assess the situation, offer advice, and sometimes provide medications to ease respiratory distress if needed. Above all, your presence is paramount. Just being there, sitting quietly, holding their hand, letting them hear your familiar voice, lets them know they are not alone on this final part of their journey. These shifts we observe in fundamental life-sustaining functions, like the changing patterns of breath, often signal a broader, more systemic slowing down within the body. This frequently extends its reach to other basic drives and internal processes, including the body's complex relationship with nourishment, leading us naturally to observe potential changes in eating and drinking habits. 6. Shifts in eating and drinking habits, when basic needs subside. Just as the fundamental rhythm of breathing can shift, so too can other basic physiological needs and drives, like the desire for food and water, begin to change. Beyond the overall weight loss we discussed earlier, you might observe more specific, sometimes quite sudden, changes in your loved one's eating and drinking habits. They might become extremely picky about food, only wanting one or two specific things. Or completely lose interest in dishes they once loved. The amount they eat at each meal might shrink significantly, they might take a very long time to eat even small amounts, or they might report feeling full almost immediately after starting. Along with this, their daily fluid intake can drop to concerningly low levels, perhaps because their sense of thirst diminishes, they find swallowing difficult, or they simply forget or lack the energy to drink. Why does this happen? These shifts stem from a complex interplay of factors common in the final stage of life. Anorexia of aging, a natural decrease in appetite, is frequent and can be influenced by hormonal changes, a reduced sense of taste and smell making food less appealing, side effects of medications, or ongoing digestive issues. Difficulty swallowing, dysphagia, caused by neurological problems, muscle weakness, or structural issues in the mouth or throat, can make eating and drinking uncomfortable or even frightening, leading them to consume less. The digestive system itself often slows down significantly. Food may stay in the stomach longer, causing prolonged feelings of fullness or discomfort, making them reluctant to eat more. As the body weakens and becomes less active, its actual energy requirements decrease, so they may genuinely not feel as hungry as before. Finally, cognitive changes can play a significant role. Individuals with dementia might forget mealtimes, forget how to eat, or fail to recognize or respond to internal hunger and thirst cues. The story of the renowned French writer Simone de Beauvoir, who reportedly struggled with appetite in her later years despite her sharp intellect, favoring soft, easy-to-digest foods, illustrates how these physical challenges affect even those with strong wills. How to support. Approach changes in eating and drinking with gentleness, patience, and flexibility. Never try to force them to eat or drink. Forcing can cause significant distress, tension for both parties, and even carries risks like aspiration, inhaling food or liquid into the lungs. Respect their feeling of fullness or their refusal. Instead of focusing on large meals, offer small snacks or sips of fluids frequently throughout the day. Sometimes a little bit often is more manageable. Accommodate their preferences as much as possible. If they only want ice cream or pudding, allowing them that pleasure might be more important than forcing down a balanced meal they don't want. Some intake is better than none, and enjoyment matters. Choose soft, easy to chew, easy to swallow foods. Think soups, smoothies, yogurt, puddings, scrambled eggs, applesauce. If swallowing liquids is difficult, talk to their doctor or a speech therapist about using thickening agents. Ensure adequate hydration remains a priority, even if intake is small. Encourage frequent small sips of water. If plain water is difficult, try diluted juices, herbal teas, popsicles, ice chips, or their favorite beverages in small amounts. Create a pleasant, relaxed atmosphere for eating and drinking. Avoid arguments, pressure, or stressful conversations during these times. Keep a general track of their daily food and fluid intake so you can monitor trends and report any significant concerns to their doctor, dietitian, or hospice team. They can provide tailored advice. As the body's physical requirements seem to lessen, often reflected externally in changes like reduced appetite and intake. There's frequently a parallel shift occurring internally regarding energy allocation and focus. Less physical energy may be available for, or simply less internal drive directed towards, navigating the social landscape and external interactions. This can lead quite naturally to the tendency we see in our next sign. A withdrawal from previous levels of social activity. 7. Withdrawal from social life and hobbies, turning inward. When the body's physical demands lessen, and even simple acts like eating become challenging, it's natural for the focus to shift away from the complexities and demands of the external world. Another sign you might observe is your loved one, who perhaps was once quite social and engaged, starting to withdraw. They might seem reluctant to see visitors, even close friends or family, lose interest in activities and hobbies they once cherished. Prefer to spend more time alone in their room, speak less, or appear generally uninterested in surrounding events or conversations. This isn't necessarily depression, though that can be a factor. But often a sign of turning inward, a natural part of preparing for life's final stage. Why does this happen? This social withdrawal is often a natural response to the profound physical and emotional changes they are experiencing. Persistent physical fatigue and weakness may simply leave them without enough energy for social interactions or pursuing hobbies that require effort. Chronic pain or other physical discomfort might make staying home and resting far more appealing than socializing. For those experiencing cognitive decline, communication and interaction can become difficult, confusing, or overwhelming, leading them to avoid social situations. Emotional changes, including feelings of sadness, anxiety, or simply a sense of things winding down, can cause a loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities, and foster a desire to withdraw. Furthermore, as people approach the end of life, many naturally tend to focus more on their own inner thoughts and feelings, reflecting on their lives, making peace with their journey, and preparing for departure. The external world, with its demands and distractions, may simply become less important. They might also have an awareness, conscious or subconscious, that their remaining time is finite and wish to spend it quietly, perhaps only with their closest loved ones, or engaging in activities that bring them inner peace and comfort. While the reasons for Emily Dickinson's lifelong seclusion were complex, her focus on her inner world and poetry resonates with the tendency some individuals have, particularly when facing age or illness, to seek solitude. How to support. When your loved one shows signs of withdrawing, the key is to respect their needs and feelings while ensuring they don't feel completely isolated or abandoned. Honor their need for solitude and quiet. Don't force them into social activities or large gatherings if they express reluctance. Allow them the space and time for reflection if that's what they seem to need. However, balance this with creating gentle opportunities for connection with those they are closest to. While they may not want to go out or have big groups over, regular, quiet visits from one or two key people, phone calls, or simply sitting quietly together can maintain connection without overwhelming them. If they've lost interest in former hobbies, suggest quiet, low-energy activities they might still enjoy at home, like listening to favorite music, watching familiar movies, having you read to them, looking through photo albums, or perhaps some very light indoor gardening. Be an active and patient listener. Make time just to sit and listen if they want to talk, sharing memories, worries, or reflections on their life. Sometimes just knowing someone is there to hear them is enough. Consistently express your love and care. Let them know you're always there for them and love them, whether they feel like interacting a lot or very little. Your unwavering presence matters. Gently try to understand if other factors might be contributing to the withdrawal, such as unmanaged pain, depression, or anxiety. Seek professional help from their medical team, or mental health experts if you suspect these issues. Try not to focus on changing them back to their old self. Accept that this withdrawal might be a natural and necessary part of their end-of-life process. Your primary goal now is to provide comfort, peace, and loving support. Not necessarily to make them resume their former social life. This quiet withdrawal from the hustle and bustle of the external world. This turning away from previous engagements often creates a space. Not necessarily of emptiness, but rather of profound inner activity. It frequently marks a natural and significant pivot inward, where attention redirects towards life's deeper questions. Personal reflections on meaning, and the richness of the emotional and spiritual landscape. This brings us to our final, and perhaps most deeply personal, sign. 8. Emotional and spiritual shifts, the search for meaning and peace. This turning away from the outside world often isn't about emptiness. It's more like a natural turning inward, towards reflection, meaning, and perhaps the spiritual dimension of life, which may become more prominent than ever before. In this final chapter, many older adults experience profound emotional and spiritual shifts. They might begin to reflect deeply on the meaning of their life, what they've achieved, what they regret, and what remains unfinished or unresolved. They may seek comfort, solace, and peace through their religious faith, or spiritual beliefs, or try to connect with deeper universal values. You might notice them showing more interest in spiritual matters, wanting to talk about topics like forgiveness, reconciliation, hope, or the nature of the afterlife. Why does this happen? These spiritual and emotional changes are often a natural and integral part of confronting one's own mortality. Facing the end of life naturally prompts deep questions and reflections. It's a common time for life review, looking back over the tapestry of one's experiences, evaluating accomplishments and disappointments, and seeking to find meaning and coherence in the journey taken. The reality of death can raise profound questions about the purpose of existence and what, if anything, comes next. For many, religion and faith provide a framework, language, and community that offers immense comfort, hope, meaning, and rituals for navigating this transition. There may also be a deeply felt need to connect with something larger than oneself. A higher power, the universe, nature, or a sense of enduring legacy. A powerful desire for forgiveness and reconciliation often emerges. Many wish to resolve long-standing conflicts, mend broken relationships, or heal old wounds before they pass. They might seek forgiveness from others, want to forgive those who hurt them, or simply desire to make peace with past events. Ultimately, a central longing for many older adults in this stage is to find inner peace. A sense of acceptance, resolution, and serenity regarding the natural order of life and death. The reported final reflections of Steve Jobs, despite his immense worldly success, emphasize a shift in focus towards connection and love over material achievements, suggesting that even the most outwardly successful individuals often engage in deep reflection about life's true meaning when facing their end. How to support. When your loved one is experiencing these spiritual and emotional shifts, it's crucial to approach them with respect, openness, and supportive companionship on their unique inner journey. Listen attentively and non-judgmentally to their beliefs, reflections, doubts, and hopes, whether or not you share their specific views or faith. Your respectful listening is a gift. Facilitate their religious or spiritual practices if they wish. If they want to pray, read sacred texts, listen to religious music, or participate in specific rituals, help create the time and space for them to do so. Connect them with spiritual advisors if they desire. Help arrange visits from a priest, pastor, rabbi, imam, monk, chaplain, or other spiritual counselors if they express a wish to talk with someone from their faith tradition. Create a safe, comfortable, and unhurried space for them to share their thoughts and feelings about life, death, meaning, and spiritual matters, if they choose to initiate these conversations. Don't shy away from these deep topics if they bring them up. Support their efforts towards forgiveness and reconciliation. If they express a desire to apologize to someone, forgive someone, or mend a relationship, offer practical and emotional assistance in making that happen, if appropriate and feasible. Provide an environment of peace and comfort. A quiet, serene atmosphere, filled with love and acceptance, can help them feel peaceful and secure as they navigate these deep waters. Be present with them. More than anything else, your loving presence and companionship are what matter most. Let them know through your actions and words that they are not alone on this profound journey. Conclusion. So, as we've explored these 8 signs more deeply here at Wisdom of Experience, we see that the end of life doesn't have to be an abrupt or solely frightening event. Especially if we learn to listen to the body's quiet whispers along the way. When we recognize these subtle signals, we gain more than just time to prepare. We gain a precious, sacred opportunity to walk alongside our loved ones through their final chapter in the most meaningful, loving, and supportive way possible. Let's reframe this time. These final days, weeks, or months don't have to be defined only by sadness and impending loss. They hold an incredible potential, an opportunity to express deep love more fully, offer sincere gratitude more openly, and provide unwavering care more consciously. Use this invaluable time to truly be present. Put down the distractions, sit quietly, and just be there. Listen patiently, even if the stories are fragmented or repeated. Share beautiful memories, laugh together when possible, cry together when needed. Most importantly, help them feel, deep in their core, that they are profoundly loved, deeply cherished, and never, ever alone. This can also be a powerful time for healing. For mending relationships that may have been strained, for offering sincere apologies, and for extending forgiveness for past wrongs, both given and received. It's a time to intentionally create beautiful final memories together, warm moments of connection that will become lasting treasures, sustaining those who remain long after their loved one has departed. Strive to create a sanctuary of peace. A physical and emotional space where your loved one feels safe, comfortable, and enveloped in love. Respect their wishes, their choices, and their decisions during this stage, empowering them as much as possible. Be the steady, compassionate presence they can lean on, listening to their anxieties and fears without judgment, and helping them, in whatever way feels right for them, to find a measure of inner peace. And above all, Wisdom of Experience wants to convey that passing is a natural, universal part of the life cycle. While grief and loss are unavoidable and deeply felt, may we find enduring solace in the love that was shared and the beautiful memories that were created together. Transforming a loved one's final days into a time embraced by meaning, connection, love, and peace, that is perhaps the most profound and priceless gift we can offer. And in offering that gift, we often discover we've learned a profound lesson ourselves about cherishing every precious moment of life. Final advice. Please always remember, the signs we've discussed here are intended as guideposts, drawn from collective observation and experience. Every individual is unique, and each person's end-of-life journey unfolds differently. Not everyone will show all these signs, or in this order. If you have any specific concerns about a loved one's health or the changes you are seeing, please don't hesitate to consult with their doctor, hospice nurse, or other healthcare professionals for personalized advice and support. Your dedicated care, your attentive presence, and your unwavering love are truly the most powerful medicine during this deeply sensitive time. Thank you for spending this time with us at Wisdom of Experience. If you found this discussion helpful or meaningful, please support the channel by hitting the like button, sharing this video with others who might benefit from this information, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future explorations into the rich tapestry of life. We wish you and your family health, peace, and strength on your journey. We'll see you in the next video.